Chicago trying to take Oklahoma back to the big dance to be the first one under his direction here in Norman. Sooners in white. Texas A&M controls the opening tip, and we are underway here from the for the Aggies. The news of the day, no Wade Taylor. Wade Taylor has an injury. That's all we've been told. He will not play at all today. So taking his place will be Jace Carter in the backcourt. Carter, Phelps, Hefner all going to have to pick up some of the slack left by that man who's one of the best in the league, Mark.
I think tonight he's going to be Coach Wade Taylor the fourth. Well, and the domino effect is that Phelps is going to play a lot of minutes at the one tonight.
And Phelps sinking the first free throw, a 67% free throw shooter. Phelps started his career at UCF, played at SMU, and has found a home originally out of Midland, Texas. And it's now a 2-0 start for Texas A&M. For Oklahoma, again, we knew Jeremiah Fears was supposed to be good. He was a high-level recruit who reclassified. He just turned 18 years of age in October. But I don't know if anybody knew he was going to be this good early on, one of the best freshmen in college basketball. Aggies with Phelps donning the headband, number 1. Obaseki, another veteran. This is one of the more veteran teams in the SEC. Texas A&M returns a number of starters, and there's a big block. Speaking of veterans, Sam Godwin, not his first rodeo.
Yeah, this is an Oklahoma team that only averages a little more than 2 blocks a game. That's last in league play, but there's an example of Godwin with a little rim protection.
He's a guy that knows a thing or two about offensive rebounding. He led the nation in offensive rebound percentage last year. Coleman scoops it up, 2 on the shot clock. And did he get it off in time? He did not. No basket. Waved off as the shot clock hit 0. You see the Aggies, as we referenced, number 1 in the country for the 2nd straight year in offensive rebounding. Oklahoma, a 13-0 start to the season. They did lose to Alabama in convincing fashion. You just saw Alabama improve to 2-0 now in the SEC. And for anybody to get to 2-0 in this league, Mark Wise, yes, that's an accomplishment in itself.
I think we're going to have an early review on the shot clock situation with Henry Coleman III.
Call number 4 is confirmed. No basket.
So a quick confirmation.
Can I just say the key word there was quick?
Yes. Good job by Joe Lindsay, veteran crew, and then the confirmation being helped by their replay center back at the SEC offices in Birmingham. What do you like about this Oklahoma team? We knew Texas A&M was going to be really good. Well, I'm not sure if anybody expected Oklahoma to be here at this point, top 20 in the country and 13-1.
Well, I think it starts with Fears, because they basically have given the freshmen the keys to the Sooner bus, or the Sooner wagon, I should say. And one of the things that Oklahoma worked on today at shoot-around was trying to attack this stingy man zone hybrid defense that A&M likes to play.
It gives everybody problems, the defense does. Fears going to work with 4. Drew a double, skip pass out of the corner, finds an open shooter. Everything but the bucket, but a great job by Fears to find Kobe Elvis.
How about that pass by Fears, though? Left-handed, cross-court, on the money.
He does not play like a freshman. Hefner playing like a veteran. The 6'6" senior out of Nederland, Texas.
Yeah, Hefner had 3 offensive putbacks in that win over Texas in their SEC opener.
Fears trying to find any type of daylight. Pretty hard to do against this suffocating defense.
That's 2 possessions, 2 throwovers.
Again, ball movement. That time Phelps passed it up, but the 3 is shot and taken by number 15. That's Duke Miles. Elvis passed up the open look. Miles connected. He's shooting 41% from downtown of the year.
One of the things that Oklahoma worked on today at shoot-around is that A&M likes to flood the side of the ball is on, and the way to attack that is looking opposite and going skip pass, and they've done that a couple of times.
Helter skelter. Moore had the rejection. Loose ball scooped up by the Aggies, and Solomon Washington on a 2-hand slam. 6-3 start for the Aggies, less than 3 minutes into the action. These two teams once Big 12 rivals. Fears launches and misfires on his first shot, and there to clean it up. Sam Godwin, I mentioned he led the country last year in offensive rebound percentage. That is why he is out there. He gets so many rebounds and hustle plays.
And for as great an offensive rebounding team as A&M is, they're kind of average on the defensive end.
Something that Buzz was talking with us about at shoot around. When we talked about the rebound, we were asking him, how are they so good on the offensive end? He quickly said, guys, we got to be better on the defensive end, where they're not in the top 200 right now.
I think anybody can offensively rebound, but defensive rebounding involves length and strength. And other than Coleman and the big fella inside, in terms of pain, they don't have a lot of that.
Handoff by Fears into the hands of Elvis. Aggies, sometimes it looks like they've got 6 guys out there on defense. Elvis spots up a 3. That was off the moment it left his hand, a knuckleball. Aggies clear it as we near a break zone. Phelps tried to drive, but slowed up by Miles. Obaseki. Another veteran player. Does so much for this Aggie team. He's going to do a little wheel and deal here. No. There's Coleman with an offensive rebound. And there's another save. The shot clock, though, did not reset. Did not hit the rim. They just get it off in time. Scramble. And finally scooped up by the freshman Fears. And then Fears fouled near midcourt. And that'll bring us to our first media timeout. 15:37 to go. Aggies up by a point.
No question about it. The good news is that Phelps runs the point a lot, so that's not a big deal. Manny Obaseki will also run the point as that backup point guard. So a little bit of a domino effect with Taylor being out.
Obaseki goes to the bench, and we will see Jace Carter now, who will play more minutes as well with the injury to Wade Taylor. Oklahoma a little more methodical on offense, and A&M will force you to be methodical, as it's awfully hard to find open looks. Taylor in the game for the Sooners. That's Glenn Taylor, a 6'6" senior out of Las Vegas.
You got to be ready to, you got to be ready to shoot.
Shot clock at 5, and a late 3 hit that time by Bryson Goodine.
An elite three-point shooter.
38% on the year. They've got 3 guys that flirt with that 40% number, something Buzz was concerned about when we spoke to him earlier today at shoot-around. Quick double out of the post. Left alone, wide open 3 is on the way. Garcia does have the green light for that. They get another second chance opportunity.
It better be all 5 to the defensive glass for Oklahoma every time the ball goes up.
Strong take, tapped around, and finally the rebound ripped down by Sam Godwin. Another 3, another make. Bryson Goodine doing what he does best, drilling the triple.
Yeah, he's only been in double figures 3 times this year. That's quite the lift off the bench.
An 11-2 run by Oklahoma. 3 on the other end, too strong. Box out good for Jalen Moore, their top rebounder.
I don't think A&M wants to get into a 3-point shooting contest with the Sooners.
Elvis directing traffic, gets a ball screen. Defers, kick out pass. Goodine passed it up initially, then fires, and almost had a 3rd in a row. Popped out. Pump fake, strong take, and draws the foul.
Bryson Goodine, who came into this game with over 90% shooting from beyond the arc. Look at the ball movement one side to the other. The hammer pass to the opposite corner leads to Goodine having a easy shot, and then A&M is late on the catch on the closeout. He has an easy opportunity to catch and shoot.
Free throw is up and in. Bryson Goodine now with 7 points. And a of New Bedford, Massachusetts. It's an Oklahoma squad that was projected bottom third of the SEC. I think a lot of people didn't know, again, just how good Jeremiah Fears was going to be. The one constant they knew of, Jalen Moore, and for that matter, Sam Godwin. But in a stacked SEC, Porter Moser's club was not expected to be one of the top teams in the league. This will be a terrific test to see just how good they are and how good they can be in this league.
Yeah, it's interesting because behind Fears, there's 3 transfers that made immediate impacts. Now, Moore transferred last year, but his numbers are so much better than they were a year ago. But then you throw into the mix Miles and Elvis, and you sandwich that around the big guy Godwin, and you've got a completely different starting 5.
13-2 run for the Sooners. Great move inside, and they want to see more of that out of Pharrell Payne. Buzz was very adamant that he wants a little bit more production out of him. Plenty of production out of Bryson Goodine. 11 points to lead all scorers.
A&M's defense better catch up to the speed of Oklahoma's offense.
Garcia front end on the 3. In transition, Moore draws the foul. He'll go to the line for a pair.
Put your stopwatch on this transition even after a make. 1 pass, 1 dribble, pass ahead, on point. Goodine with his 3rd 3-ball here in the early going.
Moore sinks the first free throw, an 86% free throw shooter. He goes there a lot. This young man, the returning leader for the Sooners in points, in rebounds, and in blocks. He already has 8 20-point games on the season. So while so much praise, and justifiably so, has gone to the freshman, this guy's their rock, Mark.
Well, he's made such a quantum leap in production, as you mentioned. He was one of the few bright spots in that game at Alabama because he had 20 there.
Payne just bull rushing his way into the lane and taking it right to the chest of Luke Norweather.
This is the way I feel about Payne for Texas A&M. We always hear Buzz Williams talk about his team's recipe for success. Well, Payne is an ingredient that they did not have a year ago.
Right. Now he has put together 6'9", 250 chiseled frame, the transfer from Minnesota. Obaseki checks back in for Texas A&M. He was actually getting a little coaching on the sideline from Wade Taylor before he came into the game. Wade is certainly into the game mentally, despite, again, if you're just joining us, Wade Taylor, the all-SEC guard, out with an injury. He will not play tonight, so the Aggies will have to overcome it.
That's a good sign for Texas A&M. Payne making 2 free throws, just 51% on the year.
Fears got to the rim and then shot it too hard off the glass, and a tie-up between Fears and Obaseki. A little extracurricular after the whistle.
Well, Porter Moser talked to us about the learning curve of Jeremiah Fears, because you have to remember he didn't come until the fall. And he's now at the head of the list on everybody's scouting report. He's going to draw a lot of attention.
Well, we talk about how when coaches are trying to get players in the portal, sometimes it's like a game of speed dating. Yes. Well, it's really in rapid form. Nice pass. There's Fears dropping a dime off to the big man, Glenn Taylor. But it's really going to be a speed dating course when you've only got a couple of months on campus before you dive right into practice. Payne backing in as it poked away into the hands of Obaseki.
Yeah, Wagee is now in the lineup trying to guard Payne. The backup bigs for Oklahoma. Well, that's just a good takeaway that time by Goodine.
Yeah, Wilcher lost his handle. Deep 3 on the way. Got it! Goodine in the zone in the first half with 14 points. A season high for Bryson Goodine. Timeout, Aggies.
Well, right now it is a shooting clinic, and the clinician is Bryson Goodine. from deep. Oklahoma off to the fast start. At the Goodine numbers already this tonight and what he's done. Lethal from beyond the arc. So many quad one opportunities night in and night out, and so many ranked teams playing each other night in and night out.
Well, I like the way you phrased it, and we talked to another coach, a number of coaches about this already. You have to have amnesia.
Yes.
It's like a defensive back that gets burnt for a touchdown. You got to go back out there on the field and perform, and you're going to get humbled in this league no matter who you are at some point.
Hayden Hefner might be playing the best basketball of his career.
Another guy they will certainly need to perform well tonight. In the absence of Wade Taylor, Aggies off to a little bit of a sluggish start. Another open three. There's the man. Nothing but the bottom of the net for Goodine. 17 points. He is absolutely ignited here in Norman. How does he get that open, Mark Wise?
Well, we're going to discuss that in just a minute.
I look forward to that, Professor. Coleman rejected. Clean block. Wagee on the swat. Fears in traffic. Absorbs the contact and knocks it down. Largest lead for Oklahoma. It's a 14-point cushion.
We're not halfway through the first 20, and the Aggies are on the ropes early. Oklahoma, you asked me that question. Oklahoma worked on this today. They wanted to drag the big away, and so Fears took an extra dribble. 15 in the maroon is way out on the floor. That means the guys in the backside cannot cover all angles. Good ball rotation, another open three, but that was all designed by the coaching staff. They worked on it in shoot-around today.
Coleman misfires on the first free throw. The line now on Bryson Goodine, 17 points, 5 of 6 from downtown, 2 of 2 from the free throw line. He's done all that in 5 minutes. Talk about efficiency. Checking into the game for Oklahoma, Sam Godwin.
Gets a lot of mileage out of their 1-2-2, but they have backed off that because of Oklahoma's execution.
What do the Aggies do differently to cool off number 2 and White?
I think you got to go man-to-man. And I think that's what they did on that possession. I think it confused Oklahoma just a little bit.
Goodine does not get a touch on that possession and therefore does not get a shot. 13-point lead for Oklahoma. Texas A&M, you saw the top 10 ranking. They're 1-0 in conference play, a 20-point victory over the Texas Longhorns. There's another block. That's the 5th block already for Oklahoma.
A&M just needs to get the fight back in the middle of the ring.
Phelps. Kick pass sets up an open shot from outside. An air ball. Offensive rebound. 2 of them, in fact, and Coleman will go back to the free throw line. So there is what Texas A&M does better than any team in college basketball. They crash, they collect, and they get second shots.
The first one is almost excused because it's an air ball, and I think those are really difficult to rebound as a defender. But then the second one, not enough white jerseys back in there battling inside. And I think it's one of the reasons why A&M goes to the free throw line a lot.
Well, next Wednesday, Chaz Lanier and number 1 Tennessee will play host to Georgia at 8 o'clock Eastern time, followed by the Red River rivalry game between Texas and these Oklahoma Sooners.
I know what happened last night in Gainesville, but to me, Chaz Lanier has been one of the surprise stories in the league. Filling in, if you will, if you want to think of it in those terms, for Dalton Connect. He has more than picked up the slack.
Yeah, transfer from North Florida that has provided plenty of scoring punch, but last night I don't know if anybody was going to defeat Florida the way they've been playing, particularly at the O'Connell Center in Gainesville. Ball inside. Garcia on the defensive side, and then a foul on Texas A&M. That'll be the 4th team foul on the Aggies.
Now, this is a bailout foul because Oklahoma had nothing going. Carter reached in. A&M, when they go straight man-to-man, it's more of a switching man-to-man. When they're in their hybrid defense, you'll see a lot of pointing, a lot of handing off between players.
There's that man. There's another make. How about 20 points in 11 minutes for Goodine?
I mean, you just have to deny. You can't be there after the catch.
Knocked out of bounds, and it will remain Aggies basketball. Bryson Goodine is in an absolute zone to the likes of, we haven't seen a player maybe this year in conference play.
Again, the defender is just a little bit slow, and that's kind of a parade wave. That's not really an aggressive closeout.
You're thinking about career high for Goodine. You got to go back to his days at Fairfield. He had 40 points in a game at Siena where he hit 8 threes, so we know he can ignite. Great take that time by Zurich Phelps to stop the bleeding a little bit.
Another one.
Pump fake, shot up in traffic, and just missed that one short. And then almost an offensive rebound for Oklahoma. I'm just convinced whenever that kid lets it go, it's going to hit nothing but net right now. 20 points on just his second miss now, 6 of 8 from the field.
Now Phelps is more of an offensive-minded point guard. Wade Taylor is a mix between setting up others. Phelps wants to drive.
Washington muscling inside, missed it, but a foul with 8 on the shot clock. He'll go to the line when we come back. 7:59 to go. Oklahoma in the lead, 30-18. During the COVID period, started his career at Syracuse back in 2019, then 2 years at Providence, then 2 years at Fairfield before joining the Oklahoma Sooners, who have not been a good three-point shooting team the last few years. They're hoping this team, with guys like Goodine, Fears, and more, can reverse that trend.
Well, they're averaging 9 makes a game, which is 5th best in league play. But he's already made 6.
It's one of the best shooting performances we've seen in the early conference season in the SEC, and no shortage of terrific shooters in this league. Washington, soft rims on both free throws, helps him go 2 for 2 and helps the Aggies make it a 10-point game. There's that man-to-man you spoke of and thought A&M would go to, Mark.
Yeah, he'll have help tendencies, but it's a man-to-man.
Goodine is in the left corner, the bottom of your screen, number 2 in white. We'll see if they get it to him. Nope. Well, maybe they will. See if they get a reversal here. Ball is stuck on the right side right now, and too much dribbling, almost a turnover. It'll be Sooners basketball with 9 to shoot. What's your motto about dribbling, Mark Wise?
Yes, for most players, ever how many dribbles you think you need, divide by 2.
Does that go for analysts and
That
Burbage?
goes for you as well.
I shall lay out the remainder of the first half.
I saw you getting some shots up today.
Oh, yeah, got to. Inside, and a thunderous slam by Wuggy. Wuggy is the transfer from Alabama, initially out of the Bronx, New York. Didn't play a whole lot for the Crimson Tide, but gives the Sooners some added bulk down low. A&M
tried to run a set that they run with Taylor on the floor.
Shot clock at 5 for Hefner. Inside Coleman. Great feed. Extra pass leads to a two-hand slam. Rocking the rim that time is Solomon Washington.
Right place at the right time.
Great ball movement. Took all 30 seconds to get a shot right at the rim. Inside, alley-oop. Bubblegum the dunk. That time to Jalen Moore. Couldn't get it over the rim.
Mike, let's take another look. I thought there was a fumble involved in terms of this right place at the right time. Watch as going up. Yeah.
Oh.
Carter just fumbled that ball, but he fumbled it right to Washington. Now, I promise you that on that play, he's going to want an assist.
He's going to get one.
Yes.
Statistically speaking, Jace Carter gets an assist on that play. Obaseki running some point. Hefner left it short, tapped around. Hefner got it back.
Another opportunity.
And another offensive rebound. That's 9 now for the Aggies.
Here's Obaseki running the point. Well, this is an isolation.
Inside, rejected. Yet another block for Oklahoma. A half a dozen now.
You're telling me Oklahoma entered this game averaging just 2 blocks a game?
The difference of playing on your home floor in a conference game, immense, as we've seen around the league. Miles on the mid-range. No, and a push by the Aggies, and a battle for the rebound as Wagee hits the deck.
Well, you talk about rim protection. Oklahoma against Alabama on Saturday had 4 total blocks already tonight with 6, and we've got 5 and some change to go in the first half.
The 6 blocks for Oklahoma ties a season high.
Right.
We're not even at the 5-minute mark of the first half.
Well, they've gotten some good minutes here from Wagee and Taylor off the bench.
Taylor flips it over to Moore into the corner. And another 3. That one rims off. Another situation where Wagee thought he was pushed to the ground. No whistle. Hefner takes it strong. Hefner gets the bounce on the left hand.
Both coaches think there was a hook and hold on the play.
Strong drive, the kick to Miles, the swing to the corner and more. Beautiful execution. That sets up an open tray for Jalen Moore, who has been terrific from behind the arc this year at 41%. That puts an end to an 8-2 run for A&M.
Mike, don't you feel like the unselfish play, as I think Hefner got hit in the face area, but the unselfish play is almost contagious.
Yes.
Take another look. Feet in the paint. That attracts all the defenders. There's the extra pass. And more from the corner 3. Spot on.
They're going to stop play here. Official timeout. With Oklahoma up by 11. Give me Moser. You take a look at Porter Moser, now in his 4th year with the Oklahoma Sooners. You and I had him when he was at Loyola Chicago in a game that they were supposed to be like the equivalent of a homecoming opponent for Florida basketball. Florida was the top 5 team in the country. They pulled off the upset that game. It was in December. And then that same team went on to go to the Final Four. They beat Tennessee as a 2 seed. You see what they've done so far this year. He believes this might be his best team at Oklahoma.
Yeah, that battle for Atlanta's title, they beat Providence, Arizona, and Louisville in the championship game. Moore was the MVP of that tournament.
Beat Michigan on a 4-point play by the freshman Jeremiah Fears. That happened in Charlotte. So they already had a very impressive non-con. Now Oklahoma wants to pick up its first ever SEC conference win as a conference team. Payne plowing into the defender. That's going to be an offensive foul. How about the minutes off the bench by Wagee? He absorbed that blow.
Take another look. Nothing fancy here by Payne. He just kind of lowers the shoulder. Wagee, defense is played with your feet. See him move his feet first. Everybody thinks you want active hands, and you do, but defense is played with your feet.
It's an act of courage to take an offensive foul for Pharrell Payne. He's a 6'9", 250-pound specimen.
Now this is A&M back to their 1-2-2 into their hybrid.
How do you break it?
Well, again, it's the opposite passes, the skip passes that they've had success with. And Goodine is back on the floor.
You see him on the left wing, but a turnover instead, a steal by the Aggies. That's Anderson Garcia on the pilfer. Obaseki has been quiet thus far, looking for his first points. He gets it here on the wing. Obaseki directing traffic with 10 on the shot clock now for the Aggies. Off a curl, Washington 5 to shoot. Washington 2 to shoot. Washington in the trees, another block and another shot clock violation. I don't know if Oklahoma could play a better defensive half than the Sooners have so far. B.J. Mackey, he was a great scorer.
It'll come to me. I'll work on it, Patrick Young, and get back to you.
And Patrick, I'm going to go old school. I remember as a kid watching Chris Jackson in the O-Dome in Gainesville. 53 points as a freshman. He had every shot known to mankind. He would take 2 dribbles past the midcourt stripe, launch a 3, nothing you could do about it. You didn't think I was going old school.
Oh, that was impressive.
Number 35 for Dale Brown. Again, great ball movement. And did he step out of bounds? Stepped out of bounds.
Mike, from a mental standpoint, I think this is a big segment for both teams. Oklahoma has played so well. They want to go into the locker room with a double-figure lead. A&M has sort of kind of got the fight back in the middle of the ring. They want to go to the locker room with it inside 10.
Well, you want to keep the boxing analogies coming. How about this? A&M has taken Oklahoma's best punch in this first half. I don't know if Oklahoma could play a much better half than they have so far on both ends.
And the double team on Payne created the turnover.
Great touch pass, open 3. Got it! Raining threes. That time it's Duke Miles. He's another one over 40% from 3 on the season at 41%. Obaseki just struggling to find somebody open.
And again, remember, no Wade Taylor.
Well, there he finds somebody open in Payne. Rocks the rim. A thunderous slam to make it a 12-point game.
Yeah, he was good against Texas the other night, 15 and 5 in that win.
Buzz Williams telling us he wants him to be more aggressive. There's aggressive defense by Garcia. Almost had a steal. Sooners get it back. Great feed by Moore down low. And a great strip by Garcia on the other end. And then a bump foul on Oklahoma. That'll go against Wagee.
We talked about how good Oklahoma's ball movement has been today. When it goes inside, look at the red jerseys, the maroon jerseys fight in. That is a great touch pass by Wagee to the corner, and Miles is the beneficiary, and Oklahoma now has already made 9 threes in the first 20.
Oklahoma 9-0 and leading at the half this season. Certainly appears like they're going to have a halftime lead this time out. That's going to be an over-the-back foul, and look out, leaping over the front row, over a fan, and hard on the deck. I think the fan might have taken the worst of it. Garcia, no lack of hustle on his end. You think this is just a regular season game in January? Watch this effort.
Garcia trying to save it.
It just means more, Mark White.
Yes.
Every loose ball.
And see, this is an interesting change of possessions. You take a look at where Garcia landed. But A&M misses the bonus. Oklahoma goes to the line for the bonus, and oh yeah, guess who's going there?
If you want those high-dollar seats, you got to be ready to be a part of the action. Bryce Goodine already with a half to remember, makes it 21 points to lead all scorers by a country mile. Nobody else has more than 7. That's Hefner. Goodine has the second one pop out.
I do think A&M's a little better with Phelps running the point because he's more offensive minded.
Phelps, teardrop, gets it to go right on cue, partner.
On cue.
Hey, if only you could be that smart the entire broadcast, we'd be onto something. Important final minute of the half for Texas A&M.
Yes, in terms of that under 10, over 10. That's too soft of a pass.
That'll certainly work out well for the Aggies. Phelps in the front court. Up top to Obaseki. Obaseki still scoreless and has only fired up 2 shots. Strong take, and it was about time for that young man to get in the scoring column. He does. His first points makes it a 9-point game.
Watch this explosive move by Obaseki. He rejects the ball screen. Here comes the ball screen. He rejects that and just jumps through the defender in terms of fears. So that's Obaseki fearless in attacking fears.
Another veteran, a guy who's been around the block out of Allen, Texas. The Aggies are full of veteran players, many of whom are not transfers, many of whom who have been with Buzz Williams and this program. Continuity is a major part of the strength of Texas A&M. Speaking of continuity, you see the games played. Most of those games played are in an Aggie uniform.
Yes.
There's a couple of exceptions, but a lot of those
really
guys,
the only exception. Yes.
right, and Taylor, I mean, these are guys that have played multiple years for Texas A&M and Buzz Williams. How about what he told us today at Shoot-Around about continuity? He was talking about continuity in the staff, a very underrated part of what they do. All of his guys, Devin Johnson, Lyle Wolf, Vince Walden, even Dale Layer, the special assistant to the head coach, they've been with him for all 6 years in College Station. Many of them go back years before that at previous programs as well, including Virginia Tech.
I know Buzz is convinced it's part of their success. Oklahoma can go 2 for 1 if they hurry.
Goodine gives it off to Elvis. And Elvis finds himself trapped. Ball movement and right idea. Pass too high, though, through the hands of Jalen Moore.
That double team made a guy who's not used to being a decision maker the ball handler on the play.
Now the Aggies can play for the final shot and make it a 6 or 7 point deficit at the half with a basket. Considering the way Oklahoma has played, that might be a moral victory of sorts. This could be a lot worse.
A complete win, if you will.
Yeah.
I gotta believe a late ball screen for Phelps. This is a little early.
Carter back to Phelps on the return. Clock at 10. Phelps on the drive, cut off, throws up a prayer with 4 seconds to go. Now with 1 second, good if it goes, and it hits the backboard as the half comes to an end. What a half it was for Oklahoma. 39-30, and Bryson Goodine putting on a shooting clinic with 21 points here in Norman as we send you back to the gang in studio. Texas A&M further cut in to what is now a 9-point deficit. You see Hefner had the best half of all for Texas A&M. Really nobody heated up for the Aggies. I thought the stat of the first half, Mark, the Aggies only had 4 assists in that first 20 minutes.
Well, I thought A&M offensively was disjointed.
Yes.
Remember, they're playing shorthanded.
And shorthanded to the tune of Wade Taylor. Again, if you're just joining us, he has an injury, banged up. We were told Today he would not play. He's on the SEC's injury report as out. As Miles picks up a foul down low on the much larger Washington. There you see Wade Taylor. The great thing is Wade Taylor is a coach's dream in terms of all the intangibles. He has been the loudest guy on the bench. He is absolutely engaged. He's coaching up his teammates. He certainly wants his squad to pull one out without him on the floor. Transition, Fears gets the foul. It was a quiet first half for the electric freshman who came in averaging 18 points a game. He had only 2 points on 3 shots. Jeremiah Fears, who turned 18 years of age in October, reclassified. He's from Joliet, Illinois, and of course, when you talk about Coach Moser, he goes back to his coaching roots at Loyola Chicago, certainly knows a few things about high school recruiting in the state of Illinois.
Fears, who is on everyone's lottery,
yes,
in terms of NBA draft. I think he's going to learn at the next level, you got to dunk that ball.
Yeah. Let's see if he heats up in the second half, and who will heat up for this Aggies offense that was stifled a bit at times in the first half. Coleman, that one just throws it right into the Aggies bench.
Well, Coleman is expecting Hefner to be in that corner. He had already vacated. But that's what I'm talking about, Mike. They just look a little disjointed. Yeah. And why shouldn't you? Missing Wade Taylor. No, that's
tough
no
pass
good.
Inside. That was a little ambitious by Duke Miles. They went right into heavy coverage. Strong take and a whistle drawn by Phelps.
Well, this is what Phelps, I think, does best. He shoots less than 30% from the three-point line, but he is marvelous at using that frame of his at 6'4", great positional length and strength to get himself to the free throw line, drive to the rim.
Phelps out of Midland, Texas, Duncanville High School. Played early part of his career at SMU. Had a season high 20 in the win versus Oregon earlier this season. Had 35 minutes in that game.
I think A&M straight man. I think they felt like they had more success with that.
Actually a loss to Oregon, check that. Good performance by him nonetheless. Good performance so far by Oklahoma inside and drawing the whistle. Kind of a bailout, because if not, Duke Miles was going to have a hard time getting that to convert.
That time Miles with the step through to attract defenders and draw the foul. A little bit of fearless on his part. Not really known as a driver.
Miles, an 87% free throw shooter, the transfer from High Point. Nothing but net on the first. Our next women's basketball game is tomorrow with Georgia, Amore, and number 15 Kentucky take on Florida at the O'Connell Center in Gainesville. Coverage tips at 5 o'clock Eastern. I need a tidbit, Mark Wise.
Well, Kentucky under first-year head coach Kenny Brooks, one of the 5 remaining undefeated teams in league play through 2 games.
I knew you wouldn't let me down. It's that type of knowledge I was prepared for you to drop on the American public.
Oklahoma, an outstanding free throw shooting team.
Hefner tangled up. And a hard foul. I can't see which Sooner is going to be whistled for it.
Hefner with the Euro step. I thought that looked a lot worse the first time. I thought Taylor got a lot of ball on the drive, but I think he did foul. I think that was the right call.
This is one part of Hefner's game you would think would be a little bit better, but just 62% at the free throw line for a guy with a pretty stroke.
Yeah, he doesn't go there a whole lot.
No. There's nothing but the bottom of the net on the second one to make it a 10-point game. Again, Oklahoma has led this game most of the way. Fears, he's not going to pass that up. That's why he is an elite outside shooter.
Again, when you get feet in the paint, so many good things happen just like that. Well, that's one you got to make.
Rebound cradled by Taylor. Miles leading the pack. Probes the baseline. Sets up Fears. Fears on the drive. Blocked. Knocked out of bounds. And it will belong to Oklahoma.
Last possession for the Sooners. Watch 15 White. Miles get feet in the paint. When that happens, look at how low each of the 5 defenders were. That's an easy kick out to Fears. And Fears, who's had an up and down shooting season from beyond the arc, nails that one.
That's the 10th three of this game for Oklahoma. Fears again, passed up the 3, shoots the mid-range, pure.
How good does that look?
Perfect form, as you call it, quiet. Not a lot of moving parts, and that'll give Oklahoma its largest lead, 15 points. And right now the Aggies are in a little bit of a danger zone. A lot of time left, but instead of cutting into the deficit, the lead has grown for Oklahoma.
That's a good point by you, because this is not the start A&M needed in the second 20.
Yeah, that first stanza.
There's that skip pass again.
And another three-pointer. This time it's Jalen Moore getting into the act.
I think A&M's going to need a timeout.
Buzz Williams says, we got to stop this right now. 18-point advantage for the Sooners, playing their first SEC game here in Norman.
Super game planning, because the skip pass has worked this entire game. Oklahoma hot.
'88, Billy Tubbs, the coach, Stacey King, Harvey Grant, Mookie Blaylock. Who didn't love Mookie?
Yeah, that team played in the championship game and lost to Danny and the Miracles from Kansas.
I believe it was in Kemper Arena, if I'm not mistaken, back in 1988. Some good history for Oklahoma basketball. 3-ball from the corner, much needed. Momentum stopper. Solomon Washington silences the crowd.
Washington just 4 for 18 from deep before that shot.
Skip pass stolen. Obaseki, right place, right time.
Now this will help A&M get back in the game in a hurry, turning the ball over.
In traffic, beautiful shot. Zurich Phelps.
I think Phelps is a tough shot taker and a tough shot maker.
Phelps now with 10 points.
Yeah, that's a quick 5-0 run. There's that skip pass again.
That's going to be an offensive foul. Moore, and a great job by Solomon Washington.
On the skip pass, the defender is a primary defender, so it's easier for him to take the charge. I think the only thing that got Moore in trouble, I saw his arm extend just a little bit. But Washington's feet were certainly not set.
Now, a great run is going to start with some stops. A&M starting to get a couple here. Can they continue the momentum on offense? Yes, they can. Phelps again with a triple. He's got 13 points. Timeout, Oklahoma. Things getting interesting in Norman. Life and the Penn State Nittany Lions go to the championship game.
I'm going to say if Penn State wins, the winning score will be under 20.
Okay.
I'm not sure they can keep up with Notre Dame.
Yeah. I think a low-scoring game could very well be in the offing in that matchup. It was a low-scoring performance by the Aggies in the first half. They've heated up here, though, in the second, particularly Zurich Phelps, who has a team-high 13. Looking for more stops now, the Aggies' defense. That'll help. A miss and a rebound flying in is Payne. Obaseki can't connect. He got to the rim. on a leaner.
That's a good rebound by Taylor coming in off the bench. He and Wagee have been really positive.
Elvis inside. And missing the layup is Godwin. Here come the Aggies. Phelps stopped at the block, tried to sneak it in there to Payne, couldn't hold on to it. All the way, Goodine showing you he's got some hops and penetration in his game as well as the great shooting tonight. 23 now for Bryson Goodine.
I didn't know he could make a two.
He lived it behind that three-point line of the first half, 6 threes.
Looks like A&M trying to play through Payne. Kind of a 4 out, 1 in.
Obaseki, that's just a force. There's nothing there. 3 on 1. Taylor, alley-oop to Moore.
Glenn Taylor Jr. with the assist.
Another timeout by Buzz Williams and another run for Oklahoma.
After the turnover, it's an easy run out for Goodine going coast to coast, coming right at you with the easy deuce off the window. And then in transition, Taylor finds Moore on the alley-oop. Did you happen to see Taylor after he threw the pass? He was kind of leaning. Look at him lean, left side of your screen.
He wasn't sure if he put that one on the money or not.
Timeout and responded.
Yes.
Oklahoma took a timeout and responded. Now it's the Aggies' turn.
It's the coach's dream, right? To see effective timeouts.
Every coach would love that.
Execution. And this has been the guy leading the way for the Aggies, Phelps.
Oh, Carter had it wide
Carter
open.
left alone and says, okay, fine, I'll just dribble in and slam it.
Miscommunication on the offensive action by A&M.
Carter transferred from Illinois Chicago. He had a scratched eye, missed some action earlier in the season. Great job by Hefner to help save it and give the Aggies a steal. Here comes Phelps going downhill in the trees, tied up, and a reach-in foul. And it's a good thing because Phelps got smothered right in the middle of an Oklahoma sandwich.
Watch this team defense on the hammer action. It gets deflected first by Phelps he read that the whole way, and then Hefner gets credit for the steal, but the guy who should get a hockey steal on the play without question is Phelps.
Now there comes Fears back into the game. 18 points on the season. He's actually been pretty quiet in this game, sitting on just 5. Payne, little bully ball, and almost an and one.
One of the things big guys have to learn defensively is you must give room. It seems counterintuitive, but if you stay hugged up to the guy with the ball, big on big, you're going to draw the foul. You've got to actually back off and create some space so that you can move and operate defensively.
Payne out of Cottage Grove, Minnesota. Was a Golden Gopher before he made his way to College Station.
He certainly tonight has not looked like a 51% free throw shooter.
Payne a perfect 3 for 3 at the line, working on a 7-point night.
Well, if you're A&M, this is part of your recipe. Offensive rebounding, play good defense, create steals, get to the free throw line.
The offensive rebounding has been there. They've got 12 of those. They're probably going to win the battle of the boards as they almost always do. A rebound margin of plus 11.5. But they're going to need some more stops against an Oklahoma offense that has been firing on all cylinders for much of the night, especially this guy. Goodine defers that time to Elvis. 10 on the shot clock. Elvis Runs out of real estate, whips it into the corner. 3-ball knocked down by Goodine. That's 7 triples on the night.
My goodness.
26 points for Goodine.
That's a great job by Fears to meet the Phelps drive.
Washington, last second, he unloaded it to Carter. I don't think he had any idea what he was going to do when he left his feet.
But that's a great job by Carter moving without the ball.
Great awareness, great cut at the last second, leads to the deuce. Well, out of control that time Fears was. Hefner into the hands of Phelps. That's a 3.
Watch out.
Makes it an 8-point game.
Watch out. Both teams seem to be counter-punching.
Buzz Williams is excited. So too are the Aggies. Goodine on the drive, pump fake in the trees, blocked. Rebound Fears. 7 on the shot clock. Inside, great feed from Goodine to Godwin.
Texas A&M prides itself on defensive patience. That time Oklahoma marvelous with offensive patience.
Carter in the tall timber gets the friendly bounce. We've got some offensive flow from both teams right now. The lead is 8 for Oklahoma. Here come the Aggies. Phelps in traffic, clearly grabbed by Elvis. And that will spell free throws when we come back. What a performance tonight by Bryson Goodine.
So many good things happen when you get the ball inside. When feet get in the paint, the opposite pass is there. And there's that guy again. Goodine for 3. So far this year.
And nobody wants to play in the Auburn Arena. Neville Arena back on the Plains is one of the loudest, rowdiest places. They have turned that into a really intimidating venue in college basketball.
And we touched on this in the first half. In this league this year, you've got to be able to handle success. You've got to have a renter's mentality with success and wins, and you've got to have amnesia on losses. You've got to be able to flush defeats out. It's 18 one-game seasons, if you want to think of it in those terms.
Yeah, it's quad 1 city in the SEC, because just about every game you look up on the schedule is going to have that designation.
Oklahoma has 15 of 18 league games that are quad 1 opportunities.
Amazing.
These numbers are just stupid.
Now, it's already the best non-conference that any league has ever had, with 21 top 25 wins. That doesn't include what's going to happen in March in the non-conference. 7 on the shot clock for Oklahoma. Elvis, that's a fade and fire, and that's a wedgie. What I was talking about with the dominance, the 185 and 23, that speaks for itself. But some people might say, yeah, but who'd you play? You played a bunch of top 25 teams. Right. You played a bunch of teams in power conferences, and you won 21 of those head-to-head matchups. You went 14-2 against the ACC in the SEC-ACC Challenge. So what that does is set it up for the rest of the year, Mark, because
absolutely
those numbers don't go away.
Those are all in the back pocket.
Right. The hay is in the barn, as they might say. Shot clock down to 5. Goodine wants 3 more, and he's got it. Unreal performance by that man, Bryson Goodine, ties a career high with 8 threes, 29 points, and then the Aggies respond on the other end.
Yeah, that's the Aggie offense right now. Phelps is just lowering his shoulder and daring anyone to guard him.
7-point battle. Not again!
in a single game, the best shooting display I have ever seen.
9 for 11 from downtown, 32 for Goodine. 3 to silence the crowd. Phelps says, I got 3 for you.
Mike,
7-point game.
I got to tell you, this is just fun to watch.
Fantastic. For all the talk about defense and rebounding, we've seen a 3-point clinic here in this second half. See if these teams can keep it going. 9 minutes remaining in the ball game here in Norman. Where's Goodine? He's at the top. There he is. He thought about it. Jump pass down low and a bump foul on A&M.
Goodine again. Again, the ball gets reversed, the extra pass. Watch this quick release after the hesitation. I mean, that's just in rhythm. He's in a zone that very few players ever get in.
I mean, that one right there, that's a hand in your face, no matter, still hits another 3. Most of them have not even grazed the rim. Goodine there in the right corner, you see. Does he get another touch? Nope, it's Taylor. Acrobatic shot, and that foul is going to be careful, Chase Carter. And they just teed him up. He had a very adamant response to the call and got the technical foul.
My initial thought was I thought Godwin had the inside position on the rebound. And if you're not the inside guy, you usually get the foul. And then the reaction by Carter draws the ire of Keith Kimball. Mike, I've never covered a guy whose career high is 40, and that might be in danger.
And again, that was mid-major level, no offense to the program at Fairfield. 40 is 40. But if you can get 40 in the first ever SEC game in Norman, Oklahoma, that's one for the record books for sure. Most points by a Sooner this year. Fears hit 30 in the win over the Michigan Wolverines. That included that dramatic 4-point play at the end.
You better get it out of the corner.
Nice pass. And a tomahawk two-hand slam by Jalen Moore.
How good has Glenn Taylor been, though, tonight? He was the one who set all this up. 35 White, feet in the paint. I love the 45 cut. Some coaches call it a blast cut from the weak side. And Moore delivers without resistance. And that's hard to do against Texas A&M.
You know, it's not just the 34 for Goodine, it's who it's against. This is A&M. Payne rocks the rim for 2. Nobody goes off against A&M.
That is way too easy on the out under.
Now, every time the Aggies creep back into this, Oklahoma's got an answer. 11-point game, under 8 minutes to go, and that'll bring us to a media timeout and give us a chance to catch our breath. 7:57 to go. Is there a better shooting performance tonight than Bryson Goodine? And he has put on an absolute shooting display.
Well, his previous high this year for Oklahoma was 12.
Yes.
Against Georgia Tech. So I'm sure there's some coaches on the Texas A&M staff that are looking at each other going, wow.
Well, if you go back to our conversation with Buzz, and that's a tough turnover right there on Oklahoma. I was a little surprised when we were asking him what he was most concerned about. He immediately brought up the 3 guys shooting around or above 40%. Well, we weren't even including Bryson Goodine in that category, who came in averaging under 6 points a game. And now here he is sitting on 34.
And yet here is A&M hanging around.
Great look by Hefner. Offensive rebound. Nobody does it better in America. Phelps.
Now he might be getting heated up from the arc.
Silky smooth tray for Phelps, who's got 26 of his own and keeping the Aggies in this game. It's only a 6-point lead for Oklahoma, and a steal by Phelps all the way, and he missed the layup. Oh my goodness. It'll be Aggie ball, but he got a flat tire, Coach.
Again, it's a great job of anticipating and shooting the gap. I think he take another look, though, at the offensive glass where second shot opportunity, and Phelps basically sets up himself. That's a stat-stuffing possession.
Phelps with 20 points in the half, outscoring his teammates who have only been able to pour in 14 to this point. The Phelps Goodine Show here in Norman, Oklahoma, with the professor, Mark Wise. I'm Mike Morgan. First ever SEC conference game here in Norman, Oklahoma. Phelps right between the eyes of Taylor. It's a three-point game.
Nothing fancy. Get the ball to Mr. Phelps.
His career high was 28. It is now 29, and it has the Aggies with a whole lot of hope with 6:50 to go.
Danger in that corner.
Dangerous pass to the wing. Taylor slips and falls. And a reach-in foul with 4 on the shot clock. And that'll be team foul number 6 on Texas A&M.
Mike, I get the feeling that most of the night it's been A&M kind of in shock mode. But right now you get the sense that maybe Oklahoma is in a little bit of shock mode.
Well, we've been throwing a lot of boxing analogies. When you've taken your opponent's best punch, and they kind of have in the way of Goodine and how well Oklahoma's played overall, and you fight your way back to a 3-point game, I'm with you. I feel like the momentum right now is on the side of the Aggies. 10 to shoot for Fears. The freshman's been kept in check tonight. And another turnover. Quick hands. Here comes who else? Phelps leading the way. Phelps all the way. Tacks on to his career high. Now 31, and it's a 1-point game.
A&M doing A&M things.
Timeout, Oklahoma.
Again, turn the ball over. It makes your defense stink. Miles pivots into trouble and into traffic, and here comes Phelps. Just monster game in terms of driving the ball to the rim, but for a change, he's combined that with his ability to make 3-point shots.
Oklahoma led this game by 18 points. Texas A&M looked completely out of it without their floor general Wade Taylor, but then came this man, Zurich Phelps, and boy did he ever have an answer.
Again, he is such a confident driver to the basketball, can take and make really tough shots, but he's only a 26% career 3-point shooter. Not tonight.
The last time this was a one-possession game, the score was 8-6. Now, with a career-high 31 from Phelps, it's 70-69, a one-possession game, and an eternity left with 6:07 to play. Keep it right here, folks. We are heading down to the wire.
And they're doing all this when they had nothing going and playing without their leading scorer.
Without their leading scorer, without their floor general and leader.
Might be Fears time.
Goodine is getting a breather on the bench. So where does the offense come from? You would think this man right here, the freshman phenom with 7 to shoot, wants a ball screen, gets it, launches, missed it, rebound, rejected. Great block inside by Garcia. Garcia, the 24-year-old senior out of the Dominican Republic. Three ball from the corner, no. Nice box out on the other end by Moore.
Yeah, I'd rather reset and get Phelps the ball back up top.
Elvis left it, scooped up by Hefner, 3-on-1. Hefner, Washington flying to the rim and tears it down, and the Aggies have the lead.
Mike, these turnovers are self-inflicted. I don't think it's anything A&M's really doing defensively.
First lead for A&M since it was 6-5. Fears airmails one. Here comes Phelps.
Seems like the Sooners are in disbelief over the last 5 minutes.
Each team, incidentally, with only one timeout remaining, and we've got plenty of time left. Heat check for Phelps. A rare miss. Sooners racing into front court, and Fears draws a whistle.
Again, the unforced mistakes that Oklahoma has made. Dribbling off his foot was Elvis. That leads to the run-out points. There's no defense for turning the ball over. And A&M has capitalized here in the last 4 or 5 minutes. I do like what Fears did after that rebound, though. Attack the rim quickly. I think the group on the floor for A&M might be a little bit gassed.
As well they should be.
So this is wholesale substitutions, including Jalen Lee.
And Phelps getting a breather as well, and gosh knows he's earned it. They took an 18-point deficit and turned it into a 1-point lead. Fears, great free throw shooter, the freshman. 85% on the year. That ends a drought of 3 minutes and 58 seconds for Oklahoma.
Mike, do you know how much courage it takes as a head coach to take out a guy like Phelps, knowing he needs the breather? So Buzz is trying to get him to the under 4 timeout, and I'm sure we'll see him back in.
That's a great point. But you know what? The luxury that we've talked about that Buzz has, veteran players across the board. He trusts all the guys that he has on the floor right now. You look around, it's juniors and seniors across the board.
If not older.
If not older. Yeah, we got a couple 23, 24-year-olds even. 72-71, Oklahoma back in the lead. Obaseki up top, drawing the attention of Oklahoma. Where do the Aggies find the offense now? The hot hand is on the bench. Here comes a three. Knocked down! Carter! Jace Carter from up top. And the Aggies are back in front.
Who has really struggled with his three-point shooting. Just 21% on the year. He shot that with confidence.
On the ground, it's going to be tied up. The arrow will go to the Aggies when we come back with 3:41 to play.
Jace Carter from the top of the key with nothing going, shoots it with confidence, and the Aggies on top late. The shot with the game on the line. I know who it's going to be for A&M. It's going to be Phelps. For Oklahoma, have they, with all the new bodies, have they worked through this? I know this. When they needed a shot against Michigan in Charlotte, they went to the freshman, Jeremiah Fears.
And Jeremiah Fears could certainly play a big role down the stretch of this one. He's actually on the bench right now. Goodine is back in. So too is Phelps, and it's the tip-in off of his miss. Another offensive rebound by the #1 team in that category in the country.
And now for the first time, Oklahoma with the ball trailing by a couple of possessions.
This ties the largest lead for the Aggies, 4 points. Almost another turnover. Got to protect the basketball if you're Oklahoma. Goodine left it short. And Texas A&M with 3 minutes remaining, up by 4 with the ball.
The Aggies defensively, Mike, have clamped down.
Phelps directing traffic. Doing all this without their star Wade Taylor. Garcia missed it, and a late whistle along the baseline. He'll go to the line. Wade Taylor, if you're just joining us, out with an injury, unable to play. Texas A&M for much of the night looked out of sorts. He has been cheering his team on from the opening bell, and he has watched his team come back from an 18-point deficit.
Anderson Garcia has become a much better free throw shooter throughout his career. 77% this year. I was curious on the double team by Oklahoma. I think I would allow Payne to try and score on his own. And that led to that weak side baseline cut by Garcia. Great activity without the ball.
Garcia from the Dominican Republic says his favorite player growing up, Karl Anthony Towns, also from his native country. He splits the freebies. The lead is 5. Time now for Oklahoma to respond. Fears back in the game with Goodine, the two players who have led the way. Fears hounded by Washington. 10 on the shot clock, and drawing the foul, Glenn Taylor, their glue guy, who's been terrific as well in this second half.
Taylor couldn't see him, but Goodine was wide open at the top of the key. And I talked about this earlier. This is an Oklahoma team that is an outstanding free throw shooting team, 81% as a team, and Taylor 79%.
Senior from Las Vegas, Nevada, Glenn Taylor. Taylor now 3 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. And gets that one to crawl over the front iron and make it a 3-point game.
Mike, it seems like a simple thing, but A&M goes 1 for 2 at the line. Oklahoma hits both.
Yep. Again, each team with just one timeout remaining in a game that could very well come down to the final possession. Crowd on its feet here in Norman.
Can Oklahoma keep Phelps out of the paint?
Open 3. Too strong. Rebound. Flying in is Goodine. Chance to tie it with a 3. Under 2 minutes to play. Fears, the freshman, fearless in the lane. Got it to go.
I like the way he created his own space with a little bump.
Phelps open. Phelps fires. Tapped around. Washington's got it. Washington walked. Turned it over. Oklahoma basketball. How about the electricity, the juice in the building tonight?
Fun stuff. Take a look at Fears and what he's done in the second halves of the last 2 games. Welcome to the league, Mr. Fears in Oklahoma. I think he's got to be the decision maker.
The 18-year-old freshman brings the ball up the floor.
Tell you who's been quiet is Moore also.
Fears dribbles into a double team. Tie up, arrow, keep it in the hands of Oklahoma with 12 on the shot clock.
But Mike, how many times has an Oklahoma player just lost the ball on a dribble?
Well, and if you don't make a hard move against Texas A&M's defense, it's going to be a problem. They are stifling. Turnovers have played a huge role in this second half on both ends. Oklahoma has 18 turnovers in this game. Lob pass to Godwin. Inside, Godwin! How about Sam Godwin, the senior? Oklahoma back on top, under a minute to go. Phelps in the lane, throws it up there. No! Top board for the rebound. It's Moore. And another jump ball, and that will give it to Texas A&M.
Well, I think A&M caught a break there. Moore had clean possession. Moore went up above everybody else to claim the rebound. He has it. Coleman looked pretty clean there.
I was going to say, I mean, you either got a jump or a foul on Coleman. Coleman did have a lot of ball. Phelps with the all-important inbounds to Payne. Payne draws a double. Up top, Washington.
Yeah, this is where the ball had to go.
Phelps working on a 31-point night. Washington for three, and it's scooped up by Fears. And Fears will play a little keep away in the foul on Phelps. With 29.5 seconds left, it'll be a 1-and-1.
But I like the foul. I didn't like the shot by A&M. Unselfish play that time. But I think Phelps has got to drive. He's had so much success doing that here in the second 20.
I was surprised like you that he deferred. That's the guy with the hot hand, 31 points, 10 for 24 from the field. And now the freshman, Jeremiah Fears, who was really quiet in the first half, has heated up in the second, 13 points and a perfect 4 for 4 from the line. He reclassified, otherwise the 18-year-old would be a senior in high school right now. Left it short. 1-point game. Shot clock is off in Norman. Buzz elects not to go timeout. Phelps for three. Got it. Clutch shot by Phelps.
That is a confident shooter.
34 for Phelps and a timeout for Oklahoma.
The defender fell down as Phelps gave him a jab step. And he just steps back and shoots this three ball with so much confidence. Take another look. And I think it's Taylor who trips actually on Godwin's foot. That gave Phelps a free look.
Now you've got a situation, Mark-wise, Jeremiah Fears, not your average freshman. When they needed it most, he picked up that key 4-point play that wound up being the difference in the win against Michigan. As good as Goodwine has been, as good as Bryson Goodine has been tonight, do you think the freshman gets the call here?
I don't know if he's going to shoot the shot, but I guarantee you the ball's going to get in his hands to be the decision maker. Now, for A&M, can they keep the ball out of Fears' hands and make somebody else for Oklahoma be a decision maker, a playmaker, a ball handler?
And keep in mind, Oklahoma has no timeouts remaining. If you don't like what you see on the inbounds, you don't have a choice. You've got to get it in here.
Yeah, remember earlier in the half, they had a careless turnover on a simple throw-in. And with A&M, there's no such thing as a simple throw-in. But what a credit to the way Phelps and this A&M team have rallied in the last 10 minutes.
No question about it. This would be an incredible character-building steal for A&M on the road without Wade Taylor and down 18. Fears is going to be the inbounder.
I'd look for him to throw it in and get it back.
Got to throw it in. Gets it in, and you're right, he gets it right back. 10 seconds. Up top, now with 8. Stops, gives it off to Miles with 5. Miles throws it up, a prayer no good. Godwin is there, but A whistle and a foul.
I think this is on Godwin.
An offensive foul.
I think it's on the rebound as the shot went up. I think Miles lost track of the time. He had more time than he thought. Really hurried this shot. And on the weak side, here's Garcia inside. And Godwin just throws him away.
Wrestling Garcia, who had position.
Again, that's where the guy who has inside position usually gets the call.
About the only good thing about that play, if you're Oklahoma, it does stop the clock. As you mentioned, Garcia at times in his career has struggled shooting free throws. The problem, again, for Oklahoma, you have no timeouts.
Yeah, would you be tempted to miss it on purpose?
I was thinking the same thing, yes. A 1-and-1 for Garcia. Missed it. Got to get it out quick. Here comes Fears from about 75. No! And the Aggies come back from 18 down and steal one on the road in a thriller in Norman, Oklahoma. 80-78, a 9-game win streak, the longest for the Sooners in nearly a decade, the longest for the Aggies since 2016. As we check out tonight's Good Hands play, brought to you by Allstate.
Well, let's go to the game winner. Here is Phelps with the step back three at crunch time. We talked about who would be willing to take and make big shots. Well, tonight, it's Phelps for A&M, and what a comeback on the road for the Aggies.
The last time A&M won 9 straight was 9 years ago, but this one is going to be awfully memorable. They might be talking about this one a couple months from now. 2-0 in the SEC.